I'm Michael Fenton.
And I'm Heather Fenton.
And we've been coming to UPC since, I think, February of this year. And we've been going to church as a family for a long time, but decided maybe longer ago than just February that we needed something different. We needed something where all 6 of us, we've got 4 little ones, although they're not actually that little anymore, something where all 6 of us could connect, and felt like we weren't finding that exactly in the place that we were going. So started looking for a new place, and this was our second stop, second and final stop, I guess. Yeah, there's a lot that when we showed up in February that resonated, and we felt a connection, a safety, a warmth, and have enjoyed being here these months and looking forward to many more months.
Yeah, I remember wanting to try this church because I had observed from a distance the way that this church handled COVID with patience and compassion and creativity, so as a non-attender at that time, I was able to see that. So I was curious once we were looking. I also know there's a love of music here, and that's a good fit for our family. And so those are the reasons we first showed up.
Yeah, and after we first showed up, I feel like I almost had a sense within the first Sunday of like, I think we might be here for a while in a really good way. It's been a hard few years. Like obviously everybody going through COVID, that I think was difficult for lots of folks, and there's been some other challenges in our lives, and work's been hard, and more anxiety and things that I haven't dealt with as much over the course of my life that I have been dealing with in the last few years. And there was something about those first few Sundays here, and it's continued since then, where I feel like I'm less put together now than I felt like I thought I was 10 years ago. And there's a safety and an okayness of that in this place that I'm finding soul uplifting and affirming and encouraging. I feel like I have, I don't know if it's because I'm asking more questions now than I was in previous seasons, or if my answers have shifted or become less stable in some questions. But I feel like the percentage of questions where I have a crisp answer has decreased. And I'm finding that this faith community is a place where that's okay. I don't feel threatened with all the mess and all the unanswered questions that I show up with. I don't feel like that's wrong or broken. I feel like that's in process and part of a journey. And that's not a thing I've felt everywhere. And I certainly feel it here. So that's part of, I know our reasons for coming here and reasons for staying here are family-wide, but that's some of the me personal specific stuff that has made this feel like a good home, a good place to be.
Yeah. And when you walk into a church with 4 kids, the people who come to greet you are usually the people who volunteer with the youth program, and that's what happened. Yeah. So we met a few of the youth volunteers right off the bat, and one of them gave me sort of a tour of the youth room and introduced me to the curriculum. And just some of the things Michael was saying about not having crisp answers to things, that's actually really important to me. I would much rather my kids be curious and ask good questions than have the answers. And when I was introduced to the curriculum in the youth room, it was an inquiry-based curriculum, and with great questions that adult Christ followers wrestle with. Things like, is God male? And what does God think about war? And there aren't simple answers to those questions. You have to be thoughtful, and you have to struggle with nuance, and you have to wrestle with God, and you don't necessarily get answers. And it just seemed to me that choosing this sort of curriculum was a way of showing great respect for children and their minds and their ability to engage with their faith. and wrestle with God and not just be told what to believe. And that's really important to me. So I just seeing that curriculum and hearing from, I think Caitlin Carter was telling me that she and another one of the youth workers have different views on some of these questions. And when they're engaging the youth in the questions, they share that they don't land in the same place. And then ask the kids, what do you think? What questions do you have? And so just creating that space where we can all be in a different place and ask different questions about these concepts. And that's okay. I think that's really special, and you're not going to find that everywhere. And that sealed the deal for us. So,
Yeah.
And our kids love it.
Yeah, I'm thinking of, there's two thoughts I have there. One of them is that sense of people landing in different places for certain questions and still gathering together in community. And that these differences, and I don't even want to get into calling things like minor differences or major differences, but just the fact that there is community and diversity of thought within that community, and that being okay and even celebrated. That's important to both of us, and I don't know if our kids know that that's important to them yet, but we want it to be important to them. I think they know. And that's a thing that we've seen here and appreciated here. And then the other place my brain was going just a moment ago is thinking about those early weeks and just some of our observations. And there were some simple things. It might have been the language that Ren used, or in that season, April was here, and the like inviting, inclusive, reflective, slow down, be together, think together. There's just a lot of change of pace and health and thoughtfulness that I so deeply appreciated. And then other details that some folks have even called out in recent weeks, like what is it called? The tables on the side have a name that I can't remember.
Like wiggle tables?
The wiggle tables or the wiggle section, I don't know what it is, but just acknowledging that different folks of all different ages are going to show up in different ways and want or need a different thing to be together in that space. And that maybe it goes along with the diversity of thought, but the diversity of need. Being aware of that and then attempting to serve that diversity of need. That was a sign to me of the general thoughtfulness that this community takes in welcoming new friends and sort of celebrating long-standing friends. One of the things we've also noticed, and it's just become more and more clear throughout the year, is how much our kids want to be here. And that shows up when, I don't know, last weekend, several of us were not feeling good, and we stayed home, and the kids noticed that, and you can feel that they want to be here. And then on a Sunday where we are here, which is most Sundays, we have to drag them from the playground or from the youth room or from the great hall and all the delicious food. We have to say, come on guys, it's time to go to the car. And they notice when we have a conflict and can't come, and you can feel them missing it. So it feels like one of the things we were most hopeful for, that all 6 of us would feel and be connected to church. That's a thing that I feel like we're living and observing and enjoying now, and I'm looking forward to that continuing for a long, long time.